Hello guys, it's Mawuena here and welcome to our week 8 C++ beginner friendly tutorial. So today we are handling two concepts, that's namespaces and exception handling. So basically they help you make your code look organized, that these concepts make your code look organized and also help your code to be error resistant. So kindly stay tuned. Let's dive into it.
Alright guys, so let's dive into what namespaces is about as one of the aspects we are dealing with in week 8. So basically a namespace in C++, so if we have say two identifiers like functions or variable and they have the same name, so the compiler gets a little confused. I mean, even in humans, if twins happen to have the same name, you obviously get confused, how much more a machine. So right, the compiler gets confused. However, the presence or the existence of the namespaces help us avoid that by grouping the code under a specific name. So basically what the namespace does is that it helps to avoid all this confusion that the compiler might go through because of the because of the presence of the same name, right? So it basically helps you to avoid that by grouping the code under a specific name. So as you can see, our codes, we are grouping our code under a specific name. So we have students, we have namespace students, and you can see we have the age of the students, they're 18. That's one aspect. Then when we leave there too, we come to a teacher as well, right? And we have namespace teacher, and we have the int name as 35, as you can see in our screen. So basically that's what the namespace there. So after that we see out it so that you can display the result. So basically that is how the namespace works. So basically help you group under a specific name to avoid the compiler getting confused. Alright, so this is where we try to run our code. We've encountered an error, but we figure it out. So we have to go through our code to figure out what is causing the error. So we are still trying to debug, right? So we are searching to figure out where exactly the error happens to be in our codes. We still have figured out an error, so we'll eventually run our program error free. Alright, so we are trying to get the code right at this point. Take note that you have to go through every aspect of the code. It could be a full stop that is causing the error, even a comma, or even a misspelling of a word, or even the use of a letter that hasn't been declared whatsoever. Alright, so we are still trying to figure out our error here. So after several hours of trying to debug and figure out our error, we have an error-free code. We've been able to declare and see out our student's age and run and compile successfully. So we have our age declared, our student's age declared as 18, and that of our teacher as 35, as we saw earlier. We are basically getting rid of this code to dive into the next aspects of this tutorial, which is exception handling. So let's dive into what an exception is. So an exception is basically an error that happened during runtime, right? So example, let's say you're dividing by 0 or trying to open a file. That doesn't exist. C++ basically lets you handle these errors using try, catch, and throw block. Alright guys, so as we discussed earlier, let's dive straight into the exception handling aspect. So as you can see, we have our IOStream header, which is very visible, and we have the namespace std. That makes it easier for us to, which basically makes it easier so that we don't have to use prefix with the std double column, and we have the cout that helps in displaying our results, and the end line, which moves our code to the next line. So as you can see inside the main function, we declare two integers, right, which is the num1 and the num2 with their respective values. So now we won't divide the num1 by the num2, but as you know, dividing by 0 is not allowed. Therefore, it will crash the program, or it would give it an undefined behavior. So to handle that, I'm trying to use the catch block. So within the try, in order to handle that, I'm trying to use the try catch block, right? That's the actual name, the try catch block. So as you can see in our code, within the try block, I first check if the num2 is equal to 0. If it is, I use the throw keyword to throw a custom exception. So in this case, a string that says division by 0, as we can see on our screen. So if no error occurs, then the division result will definitely be printed. But since our num2 is 0 here, the exception is thrown, and we've jumped directly to the catch block. So in the catch block, we catch the thrown error as a constant char, which will eventually be displayed or coded on our screen. So let's get into it. Alright. So in the catch block, as we said, we catch the thrown error as a constant char, or named as const char star, and we display a friendly message using the cout. So in this case, it prints exception quotes colon division by 0 error. So this is basically a very clean and controlled way to handle errors like division by 0, a file that's not found, or an invalid input, instead of allowing the program to crash. So this is a very basic illustration or demonstration of exception handling in C++ using the try catch error. Actually, that's the correct name given to this, the try catch error. So as you can see, our code is about to run, and it definitely wouldn't crash. So if it happens that way, it has displayed the given information. This basically tells us that the program has successfully caught and handled the error using the try and catch block. Basically, that's what it is.
Alright guys, so that's wrap up